fans of the Chicago Bears and, of course, fans of Let's Talk Chicago Bears. How are you guys today, huh? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you since, I don't know, I think I did a show in early March. That's what I did. My last show was in March when free agency started and the Bears started making, pickups and the great trade. And I do have to apologize, though. That was not one of my best shows. You know what? Oh, God. I just knocked my microphone over. I'm off the air for a couple months, and I forgot how to do it again. What was up with that? So I do apologize. So if you come back and watch me again, thank you. So this will be my last show until late August. I'll start again. I'll start season 4 of Let's Talk Chicago Bears in probably the week before the season starts. I'll get back. We'll kind of talk about what happened in camp, and then we'll go from there. But today the show is all about the draft. That's what I'm going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the draft, everyone. So first, I do want to say I hope everyone's doing well. It's May 1st. So if you're in Chicago, things are probably looking up. It's probably getting a little nicer there. And it's been nice here. We've had some pretty nice weather the last couple weeks. Today it's crazy windy here, but that's the only kind of weather we get besides hot. We get very, very windy sometimes. So anyways, who cares, right? Who cares? Why am I talking about the weather? I don't know. I know. What's up with that? I know. See, I don't do a show every week like I do in the regular season, and I forget what the hell I'm doing. Anyways, let's get to it. So, the Bears, in my opinion, Poles did another great job with the draft. Last year was his first dabble in it, and he did fairly well. I don't put a lot of stock in what the so-called experts, NFL analysts say, but I will say from what I was seeing and reading over the weekend, the Bears basically got a B+ from everybody. So we'll take it. Like I said, again, I don't put a lot of stock in them because, let's face it. I mean, those so-called analysts, experts, if you watch the draft, that poor kid from Kentucky, the quarterback, what is his, something Will Levitz, or whatever the hell his name is, they all kept saying, he's going in the first round, which I didn't think he would, because I've seen Kentucky football. I'm a Big Ten fan, if you know me. I watch a lot of Big Ten football, and then I watch teams that other family members of my family like, and Kentucky's one of them, Tennessee's the other. My sister's daughter went to Kentucky. My brother lives in Tennessee and has for 15 years, so he likes the Vols, so I watch them too. But I didn't think this kid was definitely not a top 10, and I felt so bad for him as he was sitting in those rooms as everybody's names getting called, and he never got called. And that's why, because he listened to all the so-called experts saying, and they were wrong. So I kind of felt bad for that young man, but that's life in the football world, right? And it's a growing experience. So anyways, so again, the Bears got a B+ from, whatever. And I think Poles really did a good job. And I got to tell you, there were some things I was wondering why we didn't do that. But you know what I've decided? I trust him. I trust Poles. And I haven't felt like this since the 80s when they started building the team in the early 80s. And then it went till the mid 90s where we were pretty darn good, but definitely in the 80s. And Jim Finks was our general manager, and that guy rocked it. So you got to trust what Poles did. I mean, would I have liked another O-lineman from the draft? Absolutely. But the way I looked at it this way is Poles had who he was going to pick. He had that already. And they did go up once, and they went down once, but they only went down one in the first round. We know they went from 9 to 10. And I thought it was great because they only went down one spot, They got who they wanted, and they got an extra pick for the 2024 draft, which they can play with. They could use it, or they can use it in a trade later this year or next year. So I thought it was great. And then we did go up once to get a player. So, but he didn't want to do that a lot because he didn't want to give away his picks. We went in with 10 picks, and we came out with 10 players. Actually 13 because we signed 3 undrafted guys. But we basically did what he wanted. And so that's why we didn't get more O linemen, if that's what people are really worried about. So my opinion, I didn't finish my sentence. See what I mean? Is when it came time to pick, when he wanted to go after those O linemen in the second round, which I'm sure he did, they weren't available. So then he went with who the next guy that was on his list. So and me and my son were talking about it, and I said, I trust this guy. You know what? I think he knows. They all know what they're doing in that room, and congratulations. Good draft. So I'm going to talk about the guys, the 10 guys we got. God knows I can't say, I'm terrible at their names, so if I can't say their first name, I'm just going to say their last name. Although I know some people out there, Dan, love when I screw up the names, which I almost always do. I'm just horrible at names. You know, I can't even remember names. I could meet you at a party, and 5 minutes later, I don't know your name. You give me your phone number? No problem. I'll never forget that. Plus, I'm old. I'm almost 65. I'll be 65 in a month. And although I get Medicare. and my brain's pickled. I mean, I've done a lot of things. I've partied. I had fun when I was young, and I still dabble now and then. So you can laugh if I mispronounce it, because I don't care. So let's go. Let's talk about. So first round, we only had 1 pick in the first round, and which is fine. And we got a Darnell Wright, O-lineman from Tennessee. And guys, this is a good one. A lot of people, again, so-called expert analysts, thought he was the best O-lineman in the class. Now, he played for Tennessee, and for 3 years, he played against Will Anderson Jr. On the defense, who was from Alabama, he went in the top 5, didn't he? I want to say he did. And Anderson's a really good edge defender, and he gave high praise to Wright. He said, this kid can play, and he played against me. And I guess when Tennessee beat Alabama last year in that big upset last fall, I guess he didn't let Anderson do shit. So I think we got a good one. And I heard Wright being interviewed the next day after we drafted him, and he was saying that when the Bears met him the second time, I think they came to Tennessee for this one, and the line coach was there, and he said he put him through a grueling hour-long workout. And the kid said, usually they'll stop after 15 minutes to get a drink of water or snack. He said, nope, he never did. And he said, and I got in my mind, I'm not quitting, because that's exactly what the Bears wanted to see, if he was going to quit, and he never did. And he said, so I can play. He is 6'6", 335 pounds, and he showed he can do it. And Poles was very happy with what he saw. So basically, this could be our line. God willing, no more injuries. So potentially our line could be Braxton Jones, Tevon Jenkins, Cody Whitehair, and Nate Davis, and then, of course, Darnell Wright. We might have a line that can actually protect Fields and open up the line for our running backs. So that's good. This is my favorite pick, was him. Favorite pick of the draft, I think, this kid. And just listening to him, he said, I'll play right. I'll play the right side. I'll play the left side. It don't matter. And then he was quoted later in the weekend saying, I'll play wide receiver if they want. So he was like, and I really wanted to come to the Chicago Bears. When was the last time you heard a player say that? So right on that pick. Then round 2, we had 2 picks. I'm off the top of my head, but we'll talk about it. So the first pick in second round was Gavon Dexter Sr. So I'll just say Dexter Sr. He's a defensive tackle, and he's from Florida. He is 6'6". He's 312 pounds. He appeared in 36 games for Florida, with 24 starts over the 3 seasons with the Gators. He had 125 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 interceptions. And last season, he started all 13 games, compelling a career-high 55 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 interception. I'm liking this kid, too. And what they really liked about him, why they went and got him, did they go up and get him? Was this the guy they went up and got, or the second guy? I'm not sure, but I think this might be the guy they went up and got in the second round. What they liked about him is he played the 3 technique position at Florida, and that's what the Bears do under their defense. With Matt Uver, the coach Matt, and Alan Williams, our defensive coordinator, and they're like, this guy. They said he can get going, he can cause havoc, and he can work a game. And he said, I will cause havoc, I will disrupt the other team. And he goes, and that's exactly how I describe myself: is a playmaker, disruptor, and I love football. All right, well, we're digging that, right? Another really sounds like a good, solid kid. Okay, I was wrong. So the Bears moved, then their second pick in the second round, and there was just 2 picks. This is the kid they moved up to. So they moved up to get Tyreek Stevenson. The Bears, they moved up to get him. He's a cornerback defense. He went to Miami, and in his junior and senior years at Miami, he totaled 68 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 14 passes deflected, 3 interceptions. In 2022, he was selected 3rd team All ACC, and he got an honorable mention for the All Team ACC in 2021. People who, and this is what he is saying now, okay, this is a quote from Stevenson. For people who don't know me, and for me coming to the Bears, you're going to get one dog player that's coming in with his head high, holding himself to his integrity, holding himself to his integrity to the game, and his dedication and his passion to the game. Stevenson said to the reporters, you're getting an all-out baller who is coming ready to play and make an impact on day 1. Now, I know they all try to say the right things. We know that because, they just got drafted. They're talking to the Chicago media or wherever you get drafted. And, of course, you're going to hear a lot of this kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just get this. The hair on my arms and my neck are kind of standing up because I'm getting chills. I'm so excited. I'm not kidding if you could see it. But I just have a really good feeling. I like hearing this. We in all the last few years, I'm not going to count last year, but the years before and before, you would hear them say the right things, blah, blah, blah. But these guys are telling us out now they're ready to play, and they want to play for the Bears. So that was the second round. Third round, we got Zach Pickens. He's a D lineman, and he's from South Carolina. He's 6'4", 300-pounder. He appeared in 47 games, 32 starts in 4 seasons he played for South Carolina, registering 131 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks. I'm liking that a lot. Last year, Pickens was honored as South Carolina's most outstanding senior, team MVP, and defensive MVP. He also was presented with the Rex Enlightenment Team Captain's Award after starting all 12 games and registering 42 sacks, 4 sacks for loss, and 2.5 sacks, 42 tackles, 4 tackles for loss and 2.5 sacks. That was just last year. So I guess he would that Rex in light Team Captain Award. I don't know what that means. It must be somebody special like South Carolina, but as you're getting the idea, these guys have all won awards. And when was the last time you heard that about Bears players that we are drafting, right? Okay, so that we only had one pick in the third round, so now we're going to the fourth round, which Thursday night was the first round, Friday was the second and third rounds, and then Saturday was fourth, sixth, seventh, and eighth rounds, and that was all on Saturday. So the fourth round, the Bears went and got a running back. His name is Johnson Roskan. I don't know your first name, but it's Johnson is his last name. That I can get right. He's a running back with Texas, and this kid played behind a running back that went at number 8 in the draft. His name was Robinson. So he actually played behind the starting running back, Robinson, but the Bears liked what they saw, and like I said, he played behind him because the guy Robinson on Texas went at number 8, and I think he went to Detroit. Oh, Atlanta. Excuse me, Atlanta. He went to Atlanta. That's it. He went to Atlanta. So the good thing about Johnson, this running back, is he's got fresher legs. A lot of these guys, and I truly believe this, some of these football players, running backs, they run them 3 to 4 years, and they just load it, pound on them, and they make them run up and down the field. And they come to the NFL, and after a year or two, their legs are spent. And I always worry about that because there was a day back, long time ago, where colleges were not allowed to run these running backs like they do now. They had they were allowed certain touches for each season, so. But that doesn't exist anymore. So they just use them and they just wear them out. But this kid's going to come with fresh legs. He's 6'2", 225. He's played in 47 games throughout 4 seasons, and he made 5 starts. Again, because he was behind a very good running back who went number 8 in the draft on Thursday. So, and he ranks 18th on Texas's all-time rushing list with 2,190 yards on 392 carries. So that's pretty good. Again, yes, people are like, well, that doesn't show us a lot. Well, because he was number 2 on the team. And he is a native of Texas. He has 23 career rushing touchdowns during his time with the Longhorns. So, the Bears had to go get another running back because we let Montgomery go, and you can usually find a pretty decent running back nowadays in the in the draft. So, and this guy, I know he can catch punts too, kicks off and punts. I think it's punts that he does, but he does something on the kicking team too, so that's good. So, and we'll see what he does. You never know. And you know what? The thing about these guys that we just signed, that we're signing, so we drafted, we're talking about the draft. We drafted 10 guys. Just because they got drafted does not mean they're going to make the team. They have to make the team. Now, you want them all to make the team because you want your picks to be worthwhile. But sometimes they don't. So, it's not always guaranteed, but we hope that running back, fresh legs comes. He's got potential. He's stout and he looks like a good pick. It could be a good pick behind Herbert. Because right now Herbert's going to be our leading running back. We know that, and so we never know. You never know what this guy brings. Okay, so also in the fourth round, we drafted Taylor Scott, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. This guy, they say, is speedy. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. He appeared in 30 games in 3 seasons, 87 passes, for 1,439 yards, 14 touchdowns. He was named to second team last year, second team All Athletic Conference after establishing a career high on all receiving categories with 54 receptions, 899 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns. That was just last year. The Bears, from what I was understanding, love his speed. And he brings versatility to Bears because he can play outside and he can play in the slot. And he can go deep, and they say he runs great routes, and he gets open. Another thing we desperately need, a lot of people were like, oh, man, we should have gone for more wide receivers. No, we got DJ Moore in the trade. He's going to be number 1. Mr. Mooney, he'll be number 2. As I've said, if you watch my show, they put Mr. Mooney as number 1 last year because they had no one else. But Mr. Mooney's not a number 1. He's an awesome number 2. You put him back to where he should be, he's going to be great. So you got him. You got Claypool. I believe Claypool, after a year with the Bears, because he came in halfway through the season, I think he's got that. And then another, he'll be practicing with the Bears. I think he's going to be much better this year. And then there are other guys that we've kept, which I'm not going to go on and on about. But they really like this guy a lot. And I heard a lot of the analysts saying he's a good one. So they said they felt that we got kind of a steal there. Well, we'll see, won't we? Hopefully. Then in the 5th round, Noah Swellwell, a linebacker from Oregon, the Ducks. He is 6'2", 253-pounder, played in 33 games, and made 31 starts in 3 seasons. Nice. He recorded 215 tackles, 19.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and 11 pass deflections. And he forced 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. I'm digging what I'm hearing this guy. Now, he's not super big, but he's a linebacker, remember. And, people were like, why did we go for a linebacker? Well, you know what? I can't think of his name. See, I'm off my, I'm not on my game. But Sanborn, we know, was undrafted last year, and he made a big splash. And I believe and then he got hurt. But I believe the Bears are going to give him every opportunity this year to be in it. So, and then our starter, and I can't think of his name. But other than that, I don't think our linebackers were good at all last year. Well, our offensive line sucked. And then it went to the linebackers. And if you really watch the games, the backfield, the safeties, the cornerbacks, they were making more tackles than anybody. There was a couple games where they had higher tackles than anybody, and you shouldn't have that. If your defensive line is bad, then your linebackers should stop it, and they didn't always. So I'm kind of digging this Noah guy from what I'm reading here. I got a feeling maybe he's going to be diamond in the rough, okay? Because we need that. I mean, we all know we need defense desperately. That's why I went for a lot of defense. I personally didn't think we necessarily needed a cornerback. I thought we have a pretty solid, but you need depth. And you never know where somebody's going to come out. So this next guy from this 5th round, I think we're still in. I don't know. I didn't write it down. Stupid me. Is Terrell Smith, cornerback from Minnesota. He's 6'1", not overly tall, 250 pounds, played in 37 games, over 5 seasons with Minnesota, probably because of COVID, so that's why he had 5, registering 109 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and last year Smith was named honorable mention All Big Ten after starting all 13 contests and producing 38 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 5 pass breakups. Sounds pretty good. So, they're going for depth, and maybe, because I think we had a pretty good backfield until we got banged up later in the season, but it never hurts to add more depth. And maybe this kid could be catching kickoffs or punts too. We don't know. And maybe he'll win out the job. And this is what he said. I would say as a player, I am physical, very physical. I'm a physical corner. I'm going to set the tone for the Bears. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do it with discipline. Off the field, I am just a mature young man. God, I can't speak. A mature young man, and you're getting a high character guy. See, I'm digging that. Character is a lot, and it does mean a lot to the Chicago Bears. That's why people were probably saying, well, you didn't mention Jalen Carter, the guy from Georgia, the big defensive guy. I knew the Bears weren't going to pick him. I knew it, and I'm not kidding, I knew Philadelphia, if they had any chance, they were going to get him. So that's who we flipped with. Philadelphia was 10 in the first round. We were 9. We flipped because the Bears probably let them think because everybody across the board said the Bears were going to pick Carter. And they obviously fooled Philadelphia, and they got a draft pick for next year. So I'm digging that. Because we've been fooled. We've been on the other end before, especially when we had that last regime where we got fooled a couple times, like the Trubinsky deal. We all remember that. So, but the reason he was, and then afterwards, he said, Pohl said, character is very important to us, and this young man has a lot on his plate. And so that just tells you the Bears didn't think he had what they weren't, he wasn't Chicago material. But he is Philadelphia because they have a lot of veteran defensive guys over there that are on their last leg. So him going to Philly was probably a good thing for him because he's got older guys. We don't. We have a young team, and when you come in, you got to start playing. And somebody's got to step up, and we can't have somebody who's troubled and needs mentoring. We don't have that luxury, so that's why the Bears passed on him, and I didn't want them to take him. All right, the 7th round, we got a couple guys. Travis Bell, linebacker from Kennesaw State, never heard of it, but this is the cool part. He is the first player from Kennesaw State ever to be drafted in the NFL. That's pretty cool. This guy said, I can, anything you ask of me, I will do. I'm that kind of a guy. I will do whatever you want. He is 6 feet high, 310 pounds, spent the last 5 seasons with their Owls, they're called the Owls, playing in 44 games, totaling 11 sacks, 24.5 tackles for loss. Bell was named to the All Big South Conference second team. Nice. Okay. See all these guys, and he's a linebacker, so if he can win that spot, cool, right? All these guys that I've named pretty much have won some kind of award. Maybe not the best. It was the second best, but it's an award, and that is something we have not seen. Okay. And then we've got, this is the last guy in the 7th round. Kendall Williamson. He's a safety, and he's from Stanford. So we got 2 backfield guys. Maybe some of those backfield guys may not be on the team this year, and maybe they will. We'll see. But now we got a safety from Stanford. He is 6 foot. He is 203-pounder, appeared in 44 games over 5 seasons with Stanford, compiling a total of 213 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 1 interceptions, 13 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So I like it. He said, the one thing that excites me most about the opportunity is the history of the Chicago Bears defense. Williams said, just being a safety and playing on a defense that has had such great history of defensive players is such an amazing opportunity, I feel, for me, and I'm so grateful and so thankful for the opportunity. And he's like, when I heard I was called by the Chicago Bears, I was just so happy because there is a lot of rich history there. And you know what, young man? You were right. So, that was the 10 picks. Then the Bears signed 3 undrafted players this year. The first one is Tyson Agent. He's a quarterback. Gabe Auer. Shucks, I forgot to write. What was he? Dang it, I forgot what he was. I didn't put it down. I think he's defense, something defense. And then I don't know this name. SZ, as in zebra, MYT, is a kicker. So, that's it. That's what we got, guys. I'll tell you what. I think Poles did a really good job. He got in the offseason an offensive lineman with Nate Davis. He picked up the best, in my opinion, lineman in the draft for the offensive line. Then he got a lot of defensive linemen, a couple linebackers, and a couple backfield guys, and a wide receiver and a running back. So he's pretty much addressed everything we needed. Big time. A lot of defense. They know that they were shitty on that defensive line. And offensively, we've got, I think, the wide receivers were set. Our running backs, I believe, are set. And this new kid may help a lot, hopefully. And our quarterback. So now what the Bears got to do is, now that that work is done, that was number one hard part. Number two, it's getting them on the field, learning what these guys got, and start to make a team. Start to mold a team with all these players. The ones we signed in the offseason, the ones that are returning, and these youngsters. And now it's up to Coach Flus. It's up to him and the coaches to make these young men NFL Chicago Bear players. That's what we want. And I don't know about you guys, but I am stoked. I cannot wait. Because, I hate not having football. Football is absolutely my favorite sport in the whole world. And my baseball team sucks the big one, the White Sox. They are bad. I'd rather watch a minor league game than the White Sox right now, although they have two major impact players on IR, and they have been for 2 weeks. So anyways, we're not going to talk baseball. Anyway, so I'm stoked. I cannot wait for this season. I'm curious to see how the voluntary and the mandatory camps go. Those start now. We had one camp so far, and then they start, and then they stop, the second week of June, and then there's nothing until they open camp at the end of July. So I hope these young men are ready to come and show their stuff, because the Chicago Bears and their fans want to win. And I'm going to leave the show with this. I'll talk about it more when we start season 4. Did I say season? Hello, are you there? You can tell I'm not on my game. I knocked my microphone and turned it off. But what I was going to say is, this is the one thing, though, and I truly believe this. So I believe that Poles and Coach Flus are going to give Justin all the tools he needs around him to succeed this year. This is his third year rookie, and then he's got a fourth year. We didn't have to do the option year because he was picked number 11th. It's only the first 10 in the draft that have that option year. He went 11th, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's why I truly believe Bears are going to give him every opportunity. He's been with the Bears 3 years. First year, we're not even going to count because we know who, that bald dude who always wears a visor was his coach. So the last year and this year, and if he does not produce the way the Bears want and expect him to, and we do not at least, if we're not vying for the division lead, I don't believe Fields will be here next year in 2024. I really believe that if he does not produce in 2023 to their liking, and if we're not in first or second place, and maybe a playoff, like what do you call them? Wild card team, I don't believe he'll be here because you remember when Coach Flus and Poles came in, they had to stay with that quarterback because he was on a rookie contract, and there's no way the Bears were going to let him go because they really didn't know what they had because of that idiot Nagy. And I can't believe I just said his fucking name out loud. Bald visor dude. You know, we don't know because he sucked everybody sucked under Nagy. So I do believe people, whether you like to hear this or not, because if he doesn't produce the way they want, you remember next year in the 2024 draft, we have 2 first-round picks. And that'll give the Bears a lot of wiggle room if they needed to go up and get a quarterback. So, you know, I'm sure they're not saying this to Fields, but I'm telling you, it's in their head. And I'm telling you, Poles and Flus and whoever else high up, they've talked about it. And they're like, this is a do-or-die year for him. And that's why they've got to make it so, you know, last year wouldn't count it. Now you got to get these offensive linemen that are going to protect him and allow you to see if he's really got what we think he does. You know, I've been on the fence since we drafted him, and I've always been very encouraging. I haven't put him down, but I do point out when he did some things, like he was fumbling the ball last year. That's got to completely stop. And in the beginning of the year, you could see he was playing scared. He wasn't confident. He got, definitely as the season went on, he got a lot more confident. So we need that to continue. And better decision-making and reading the defenses. He really has had to work on that, and I'm hoping he did in the offseason. So I would love nothing more than him to succeed, and we go to the playoffs, and maybe 2024 go win a Super Bowl, okay? I would love it. And I will be like, yes, but I'm not convinced yet. Ohio State does not have a great track record with quarterbacks here. Now, number 2, they just went with another one, C.J. Stroud, who went number 2 in the draft this year. So we'll see about him too, which I don't really care, but all we care about is Fields. So I really, really hope that Fields has the good year that we all expect. Otherwise, people, I'm telling you, you're going to mark my words, he'll be gone. So, and on that note, I've been gabbing. I gave you a quick overview of what we got. I'm sure you all knew. I'm fucking excited. I think everybody's excited. It's been a long time coming. We're not going to have another year like last year. I mean, we're just not. I know it. I can promise you that. And I think we got a really good young team, and that's what Poles wants to do. He wants to build from the ground up. And then once in a while, if you have to, you can plug a veteran in from another team. Now, the Bears could still make a trade or two. Who knows? You never know. It could be more for the defensive line. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll see. So anyways, guys, I just want to say hi. I hope everyone's doing well. If you like me, please subscribe. Please tell everybody about it. My regulars know last year, my 3rd year, I got quite a few new subscribers. So I'm at 341 right now. My goal is to make 500. Hey, this old lady, 65-year-old, been a fan for 48 years with the Bears. I've seen more losses. I did figure it out one time than I have wins, but I'm still a avid Bears fan, and I will never die. I'll never stop until I die. And when I die, I'll be buried in a jersey, for sure. I've been thinking about it. I just don't know which one. Why am I talking about that? I don't know. Anyways, I love you guys. It's going to be exciting. I won't be back until probably the last week of August. Start looking for me then. I hope you come back and we can watch the second season under Coach Flus and Poles, and with all these new players, and see we can get our winner going because we deserve it. Bears fans deserve it, that's for sure. I love you guys. I appreciate you watching me. I always say that, and I mean it. If you know me, you know I am true to my word. I got a good heart. I really appreciate all my viewers. Please tell everybody, subscribe. And if you don't want to watch the whole show, just turn it on and walk away. Then I get the views. I'm kidding. Anyways, I love you guys. And I want to give a shout out to a very good friend again. Bob, I love you, man. Stay strong. You're tough. and you are going to beat this because you are a motherfucker. Tough guy. I love you, man. So I'm always thinking about it. You and Chris are always in my heart. And I want to thank everybody. And I always end my show this way, always have the last 3 seasons. And remember, I'm entering season 4. Have I told you that? Season 4 on Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Just reminding you. Be kind to one another. Help one another out. When you're out and about and you're walking through the grocery store, you're walking down the street, whatever, smile at somebody. It's amazing how sometimes people are surprised and then they smile back, or they're just like, you just don't know what kind of day somebody's having, so try to help them out. Lift them up. Love one another. You know, tough times. There's still tough times out there. We've gotten a lot better since I started this show, that's for sure. But times are tough. Prices at the gas pump and the grocery store suck. I go to the grocery store and I am just downright cranky. So, but be kind, because we're all in this together. And especially Bears fans, we should all stick together and love one another, okay? So, on that note, I love you. Keep on watching me. I'll see you for season 4 of Let's Talk Chicago Bears. I just wasn't sure. Did I say it was season 4? In August, late August, and then we'll start the 2023 season of the Chicago Bears. And I'll see ya. And really, thank you for watching. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Go Bears!